Hey, hello, hi, welcome to my space. My name is Eclipse and welcome to part 3 of the series, How to Make a Fursona. In today's video, we'll be talking about designs and how to come up with them. Sorry I've been away for so long, life was a little hectic and busy, and these videos take a long time to make, so I try to upload whenever I can, to give you guys the best result. I hope you aren't tired of me yet. Designing your fursona is one of the most important things to really make your fursona unique and yours. So grab your popcorn and a cold beverage and take some notes because this will be a long and hopefully helpful video for you guys. So let's get started. So here we are. We chose a species, made or found a base to use as a reference sheet. But what now? It's time to design my fursona, but I don't know where to start. I don't even know what colors to use or what markings I want. Help! No fear, Eclipse is here. We'll take it one step at a time. Designing a character may take a while. You can get inspired by a lot of different things, from nature to cartoons, from color palettes to a story you made up. I will give you a few examples of how to come up with an idea or a theme for your fursona. First off, color palettes. Color palettes are commonly used as an inspiration source for fursonas. A lot of people don't really know what colors to use or don't know which colors look well together. Then a color palette is a good choice. Here I will show you a few examples. Feel free to pause the video and make a screenshot of a color palette you like. If you don't see one you like right away, search color palettes on Google and you will find hundreds of palettes to choose from. If you want to choose the colors yourself, but you don't know which colors fit well together, try looking at a color wheel. It shows you all the colors of the rainbow. The color that's opposite of the color you choose will complement the other. So for example, if you choose purple, the complementary color is green in this case. Try to experiment with those. It's also easy to maybe start with a neutral base color, if you want a fursona to have that, of course. Like black, white, browns, or grays. You can combine almost every color with those neutral colors. Get inspired by nature. Nature is a beautiful way to get inspired. Look at plants, flowers, trees, but also at all the unique animals. Think about butterflies, birds, fish, even insects. They have the most beautiful colors and the most unique markings, so you can get inspired for the colors and the markings in one. Get inspired by your favorite cartoon. Maybe you enjoy an anime or maybe a cartoon. You can get a lot of inspiration from your favorite characters. What makes them special? What makes their colors look so good together? What makes them so likable? Let yourself be inspired. Yet again, I always say this in all my videos. Don't copy a character. You may take inspiration, but copying a character from someone else's is never okay. Just keep that in mind when you make your design. Get inspired by your story. What if you already have this amazing background story written down of your fursona? You can take inspiration from that. Is your story happy and joyful and full with energy? Think about using the colors pink or yellow. Is your story sad or depressing? Use darker colors like black and dark blue. You can use a mood color chart to get ideas for your character. You don't have to play by any rules though. If you want a pink character and they are angry and sad all the time, you can do that. I'm just sharing some methods you could use to choose your colors. We already talked about markings a little bit, but let's go a little deeper into that. How do you choose your markings and where do you place them? You can do whatever comes to mind and place them wherever you want, but I will give you some tips if you are not sure how to get started. We talked about nature and animals already. They have beautiful markings and they give you an idea where to put them because I'm almost certain that your fursona is an animal as well. A great inspiration for markings but also for colors is a mood board. You can make one yourself or you can use a free to use one you can find on the internet. Use the objects and shapes as markings. For example, I use this mood board for Eclipse and I use the moon as one of her markings. How do I choose my markings? Try to make a mood board with the feelings and theme you want to give your fursona. Is your fursona a softie and enjoys flowers? Try to avoid sharp markings and stick with rounded markings and use lighter colors. And if they enjoy flowers, try to add flowers or leaves somewhere in the design. Are they evil and badass? Try some darker colors and sharper markings. Maybe even try to find symbols that represent a word and incorporate that in their design. A small tips for using markings is try to even out the markings. Don't go crazy on the markings and put them everywhere. It'll give your character a chaotic feeling. Unless that's what you want your character to represent, then go crazy, of course. Also, a thing to keep in mind while designing your character is if you want to commission your fursona as a fursuit one day, keep in mind that the more vibrant and neon colors are harder to find and will most likely cost you more. Same if you have a lot of markings, it'll also be more expensive. If you decide to use white, try to think about where you place it. If you use white on your paws or on your floor dragging tail, it'll get dirty very easy. Oopsies! I clearly didn't have a video to warn me about this. Another thing to keep in mind is to never shade a reference sheet. I talked about that in my last video as well, but I wanted to repeat it just in case. If you shade your character in a reference sheet, people may confuse the shading by markings or other colors of fur. So make sure to do a flat color drawing of your fursona's reference sheet. I will show you an example of what I mean by confusing. As you can see, this is a drawing without shading. You can see all the markings and colors very clearly. Now this is one with shading. See how that confuses you on some markings and different colors? If it really doesn't work out with designing, you can always adopt a design from an artist. They design characters, and if you like one of their designs, you can adopt one. Some artists even do custom designs. You can tell them your ideas, show your color palette or show a mood board, and then they will make it for you. But that will cost you money. So keep in mind, if you don't have a big budget, try to make one yourself. If you made your fursona and after a few weeks and a few commissioned art pieces later, you come to the conclusion you want to change something about them, have no fear. You can always change them if you like. I invited my friend Phoenixstar to talk about that more. Hey Phoenix, take it away.
Hey everyone, Phoenixstar YT here. Up to this point, you probably have a good idea of how you can get inspiration for your fursona design. So I thought of a scenario. Let's assume that you have your design all thought out and you want to bring it to life. You either draw an image yourself, or you go out to an artist to commission an art piece like a full body or a headshot. You have this design for a little while, and one day you look at it and you suddenly have the feeling that it's missing something. Or maybe something just doesn't look quite right to you. If that is the case, then maybe it could be worth considering making some changes to the design. I'm no stranger to making changes to my own fursona's design, either big or small. In fact, my own Sona's been through a fair amount of changes since his first design. A few different main styles, different kinds of clothing, and even a complete species swap. Going from a pony to something that I think looks more adorable and I think fits me better as a person. A pony-wolf hybrid, or wony as I like to call it. This design is the one that I stuck with since I got it, and I have no plans on changing it any further than this. Because for one thing, it's so dang adorable, and second, it's a combination of pretty much everything that I love. A good long hairstyle, it's got wings, and it's a hybrid between MLP and a wolf, which are two of my all-time favorite things. Fun fact, this design started out as just a silly thing that I wanted to try out, because I thought the idea was fun. I love wolves, I love MLP, so why not combine the two? The end result was possibly one of the best things that I've ever had in any art I commissioned so far. And the very instant I saw it, I simply fell in love with it. Fast forward a few months later, I commission a ref sheet of him, which leads us to the present. Now, you may notice that the avatar we're using for this video is still the Pegasus that I had before this. This is because it's the only avatar I have, and I still feel quite connected to this design. Unlike the other designs that I had before this, I didn't just want to throw this in a bin and never use it again. I still wanted to do something with it. So I decided to not commission an avatar of my new design and instead just stick with the avatar that I have right now, which is totally fine. You are free to come back to your older designs and keep them alive for whatever reason you may have. You can use your most up-to-date design for all your artwork and your fursuit, for example, and still use an older one for things like YouTube videos or something else you might like. One idea I have is to get art of both your older and newer design, standing side by side or in front of each other, looking very confused as they inspect their past or future selves or something like that. If you feel a connection with your older design, despite you using your current design more often, you are still allowed to use it for many fun ideas you may have for it. I also feel like you should know the limits of your fursona and yourself as you make changes. I stopped making any crazy changes to my fursona after the species swap, because if I would make any more changes to him, he would simply not be the same Sona anymore. And I'm almost certain you would feel the same way if you would have a powerful connection to your Sona. If you feel the need to change everything about your fursona's design, I think you'd be better off making a new fursona entirely. Going back to the changes that I made for my design, it's totally fine to make changes to your fursona, especially if you're just getting started with designing one yourself. That is pretty much how I started designing my Sona. Experimentation is not a bad thing. However, it is worth noting that you should not overdo it. Making too many changes to your original design will cause many things to become inconsistent with one another, like the artwork you commission, your merchandise if you're going to sell any, and your fursuit. It's not all that convenient and could cause some problems when commissioning artists. I would also recommend you try and keep your changes as slim as possible. Making small changes, like an extra accessory or some highlights in your fursona's hair, something small like that is very good. However, when you're gonna make bigger changes, then you might run into the same inconsistency issues that I mentioned before. Of course, everybody's free to experiment with their own fursona and see what happens if you're just gonna try something out that you think would look nice on it. For example, I already mentioned the whole pony-wolf hybrid that I have right now. That was just a silly thing that I wanted to do for fun at first. However, looking at the design a little more closely, I found that I felt a lot more connected to it rather than the pony design that I had before this. So I decided to make it a permanent change to his original design. He now also has a scarf as opposed to the bow tie you see on my avatar. The scarf was also something that I just wanted to try out first, before adding it to my fursona permanently. And knowing me, I probably will do some more awesome stuff with him. That said, I am not gonna be making any more permanent changes to Phoenixstar's design, since I think the way he is right now is very much perfect. Anyway, I think I said enough as is right now. Thank you for having me on the show, Eclipse. It was fun being here. I'll let you handle the rest of this. I hope you all have a fantastic day and let your passions and dreams come to life.
Thank you so much for this helpful story. I will keep it in mind. I hope all these tips and tricks will help you out with markings and your design. I'd love to see them. Post your design on Instagram and tag me at Ecliptic Arts in your post. I love to see what you come up with. Let me know if you have any other questions and I will try to answer them in the comments below. Let me know if you want a separate video on how I design my adopt step by step. I also would like to thank my Patreons Lone Wolf Nick and my friend who helped me today, Phoenixstar, for supporting me. That was it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. In the next and last episode, I will be talking about how to come up with a name for your fursona. So stay tuned for more information about how to make your fursona. Don't forget to boop the like button and to subscribe to my channel. And as always, keep on shining. Bye!